What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button because that's the most important thing you can do from on this channel. What it does is that it helps to make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get the notifications, and it also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them on this news and information. And yes, that does help to give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm as well. And with the introduction out the way, let's get into today's news, especially since I fumbled the introduction. Today, man, we're headed back to Fox News studio, right? And we're headed back over there because I wanted to take a moment to go over this Tulsi Gabbard interview that she did. It was a quick interview, and she really ripped to shreds and exposed essentially what Kamala Harris's debate strategy is. She explains what it was in the past, what it is now, and she speaks on how coddled that Kamala Harris has been and protected Kamala Harris has been since even before becoming Joe Biden's vice president pick. So let's get into this right now, and let's listen to Tulsi unpack and completely rip to shred and expose Kamala Harris's essential debate strategy with the help from ABC, who is hosting the debate tonight. What she's responding to right now is she was asked, what was it like when you debated Kamala Harris? I believe it was in 2019. And with that, here's the video.
As you remember, Jesse, she was treated like with kid gloves by the mainstream propaganda media. She was treated with kid gloves, even by every other candidate that was on that debate stage. No one questioned her, challenged her, or called her out for the record as prosecutor that she claimed to be proud of. She talked every day about how she'd be a prosecutor president, but no one questioned her about what that record was and how that would translate if she were president. And I pointed out the hypocrisy. I pointed out the hypocrisy of how she would do one thing, and when the standard was held to herself, she did the exact opposite. We are seeing that opportunity again in this debate coming up tomorrow night for President Trump to do the very same thing. What Kamala Harris is saying, the lies that she is selling to the American people now, is the exact opposite of the record that she has had, frankly, as the incumbent in this race. She's been in the White House for the last 3.5 years, almost 4 years, not President Trump. And our country's in a disastrous position as a result, both on domestic and foreign policy.
So let's focus on what she just stated there. Tulsi spoke a lot about the hypocrisy of Kamala Harris. If Trump is successful in being able to get out of his own way and put his ego in his back pocket for just an hour and a half and just stay focused on the policies and stay focused on the hypocrisies, this debate is an easy W for Trump. It's an easy W for Trump. Kamala Harris, they're going to try to trigger him. They're going to try to get him in some sort of gotcha moment by taking shots at him, even though they're going to be on muted mics. She's going to say something, a few things to get him off his square. If he stays focused on what Tulsi Gabbard is talking about concerning policies and hypocrisy, easy W, easy W. But let's carry on.
So she's not to be underestimated because she is talented on a debate stage. There's no question about that. But she's going to have a tough time trying to defend this record that, quite frankly, from the view of the American people, is indefensible.
Let's focus on that for a moment. This is Kamala Harris's record that is 100% indefensible. I don't know how you defend this. Somebody please explain to me how you defend this, how it started, how it's going. Last day under Trump versus last day under Harris. Inflation rate 1.4. Under Trump, inflation rate 8.3 under Kamala Harris and Biden. Gas prices $2.39 under Trump. Gas prices under Harris and Biden $3.76. 30-year mortgage rates 2.65% under Trump, 7.8% under Harris. Average rent prices $1,600 under Trump, $2,000 under Harris. NASDAQ up 13,342. NASDAQ down 10,829 under Harris. And the list goes on and on. I'll just read the last three off since we're already rounding out at the end. Grocery prices increased 3.7% under Trump. Grocery prices increased 13.5% under Harris. And then we have here electricity rose 1.5% under Trump. Electricity rose 15.8%. 15.8% under Harris. And in closing, real average hourly earnings increased 4% under Trump. I repeat, real average hourly earnings increased 4% under Trump. Under Harris, real average hourly earnings decreased 2.8%, as you can all see. So once again, as Tulsi stated, this is 100% indefensible. I don't know how you defend a record like this, but let's let Tulsi carry on as we round this out.
It's a good question. I saw and experienced a lot when I ran for president, but really that between the leaders of the DNC and the leaders of the mainstream propaganda media, the fix was in. They picked the few who they wanted voters to hear from, and for the rest of us, they tried to destroy us. But this is one of the frustrating things about being on that debate stage that still continues now is the mainstream propaganda media creates this political theater, and they take very lightly the serious choice that we have as voters. And so they have created this false premise that whoever wins this debate, therefore, is the candidate that deserves to be president. Being a great debater does not qualify a person to be president, but this is Kamala's goal, Jesse, and this is why she's locked herself in her hotel room, taking extreme acting lessons. She's got Hollywood advisors, a stage, the Hollywood lights, in the hopes that her friends at ABC and the propaganda media will declare her the winner, and that may be enough to trick voters into actually voting for her. I don't think the American people are going to fall for it.
So that is the strategy as laid out by Tulsi Gabbard. This whole thing for Kamala Harris is nothing more than a Hollywood production. And as it pertains to Tulsi referring to her as being an actor, this is something that I've said multiple times over, especially when you watch the interview that Kamala Harris did on CNN. Kamala Harris looked like a bad actor who was struggling to remember her lines during an audition. That's how she looked. That's how she comes off. And that's literally what this whole thing is. It's literally at this point a Hollywood production for Kamala Harris, in which she has her friends at ABC who will be assisting her the same way we saw Dana Bash coaching Kamala Harris into answers during the interview. You're going to see something very similar during this ABC debate, in which they're going to be very soft on Kamala. They're going to make sure that they really don't address Kamala in any way that can make her look bad. And ultimately, all they're looking for is a handful of sound bites and a handful of clips that the DNC could run through their mainstream media propaganda wing, in which they can take those clips, a handful of them, and bombard the population over and over and over again with, to make it appear as if Kamala Harris won the debate, when she in fact lost, because she is going to lose. She's gonna lose. And we all know this to be true, but that doesn't matter. When you have the mainstream media propaganda wing on your side, right? When the mainstream media is in your back pocket for the DNC, with the exception of essentially Fox News and the New York Post, all you need is a handful of clips. And from that point on, just run them on repeat over and over again, and have multiple pundits give their opinion over it over and over again. Have Van Jones on CNN cry about it over and over again. And you could add Bakari Sellers to the list of criers as well, and he'll cry about it as also over and over and over again, in order to fool the public into believing that Kamala Harris won and that she's the better pick. They were only able to go so far with Joe Biden. Let's see how far they're able to go with Kamala Harris. Let's see how far they're able to take this Hollywood production, because that's what this is. It's nothing more than a Hollywood production. And Kamala Harris is a manufactured candidate who has no business running for president of the United States. She didn't have any business being vice president. This is a woman who failed miserably in her 2019 run to become president. And there was a embarrassed on the debate stage by Tulsi Gabbard. But now here she is. And so far, the mainstream media was able to, or I should say, has been able to essentially somewhat trick their base into believing that she's the one, right? But we all know that she isn't. We all know that she isn't. And in closing, this is nothing more than a Hollywood production. And with all that being said, that does it for today's news. So thank you for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. And also don't forget to share this video out on your social media platforms. And please remember to follow me on Telegram and Rumble. That is extremely important that you follow me on Telegram and Rumble. Both my Telegram and Rumble links will be in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time, and until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.